The stragglers from the original 23 men. Picture postcard setting today for the Vuelta de España. Mind you, everywhere looks nice in the sun, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they've got a nice new road surface as well for this climb. I'm sure that the local region has done that especially for the Vuelta.
Well, this is only the 4th time in history the race has finished up the formigal, and it was the very first climb for a mountaintop finish used back in 1972. This young man wasn't born. In fact, he was still 20 years away from being born, and he's now leading the race up this climb. Clock counting. 7-kilometer banner below us. Somebody's trying to push on here. It looks like a Movistar rider. Could well be Jesus Herrada if it is. Peloton picking up just the one rider from Katusha on the right. 34 seconds, so he's pushing up. There's 3 riders getting together, but it's on the ascendancy.
Yeah, it's definitely increasing there. I mean, he's not only using his legs and the talent that he's got, but also he's profiting from behind here. It's a little bit bitty the way they're riding. There's attacking, and then it's slowing up a little bit, and he's steadily pulling away.
It's the BMC rider Martin Kohler trying to reach those 3 riders to make a chasing group of 4. Kohler's a pretty good climber. But this man's seen his chance and he's taken it. 34 seconds to the group he has left behind. At 3 minutes the spread to the peloton.
This group is splitting up now, isn't it? Look again, you see there's a bit of a slowing down, and then somebody's attacked. Movistar rider just trying to increase the pace.
Just the fact that the peloton aren't getting past this rider they've caught says a lot.
Yeah, I think the Astana, the boys are just keeping this steady now. They'll just be watching to make sure that nobody attacks from this group now. I think they've given up the ghost in terms of the stage.
6 kilometers to go as the clock starts again for Warren Bagui. 6 kilometers to the top here. He's crossing a plateau before he kicks again this climb. He's got himself on those handlebars in his time trial mode now. Well, this would be a bonus because he never came to this race expecting to win 1 stage, and now he's got a real chance of winning 2. 22 years of age next month, Warren Bagui.
He's on this little bit of a plateau. It's still climbing, but it's only 2-3%, and then it kicks up again with about 2.5-3 kilometers to go, and it goes up to 7 and 8% to the line.
4 chasers there, 35 seconds. We'll ID them for you as soon as we can, but certainly Martin Kohler of BMC is there, and I think it is Herrada who has got across for Movistar. We haven't got a camera left to put one in there at the moment. This is a peloton which, unless somebody launched an attack, is going nowhere now.
We're inside 5 kilometers to go, and it's still looking good there, still keeping a very decent tempo. He's just got this another kilometre or so before the big push up to the line.
Well, it's gone up. I think it was 35 seconds on these 4 riders at 6 kilometres, and Kohler is leading the chase down there, and they're regrouping as well as they come over. It's now 37 seconds for what is the rest of the breakaway now. 8 riders coming together. August Shimano has had a terrific year this year. If you were watching our coverage of the Tour de France, you'll remember that their top sprinter Marcel Kittel won 4 stages in that event, including the first stage in Corsica. That got them off to a great start, and he kept on winning. And now here we go over to the Tour of Spain, and it's their latest young signing here, Warren Bagui, who is riding so well. The lone figure of the man from Brittany in France, looking for his 2nd stage win. And if you're a betting person, I'd get down the bookies straight away. Kilometers to go now, and Warren Bagui, the clock starts again at 5 kilometers to go. He held a 37-second advantage over 8 chasers. We'll see how that stands up now. He's not showing, but look in his body language, Graham. This man is not slowing down.
No, I mean, we've had a very tough day, but he's still out there in front. We've got one lone chaser there. Looks like the Movistar rider.
Yes, there were 8, but they've split up again. It looks like 3 of the original chaser 4 have gone again here.
It's actually Oran, actually.
Oh, it is. It's a Sky jersey. Look.
And it's come down. Yep, 29 seconds. So the attack by Rigoberto Urán, who in theory is the best climber that was in this group, but we've seen him drop away on the GC, now probably looking for a stage win. He's closed that gap just a little.
Little bit of a switchback. That's a bad indication that we're going to start climbing again now. So Rigoberto Urán, who's been in the breakaway, that when he's established at 60 kilometres to go, 60 kilometres into the race rather, with 80 kilometres to go, has been in the breakaway since then, and now he's trying to push up. He's leaving it late, but he's been forced into a decision if he's feeling good. The peloton under 5 kilometres to go, while Warren Barguil is riding 1.5 kilometres ahead of them now. They cannot possibly close 1.5 kilometres in just over 3.
I think Barguil's suffering a little bit here. I think he's finding this hard going. It's pretty windy as well, so maybe he's struggling. May have gone just a little bit too early. We'll know soon enough. But Iran, it's going to be tough to keep away from Iran.
Well, let's hope that his youthful enthusiasm hasn't overread his body weight here, because he's now coming up to that 3 kilometre to go banner. His advantage over Rigoberto Urán was 29 seconds. We'll see what it is this time. He's climbing right up to the summit finish here. He can forget the peloton. They're not going to get back.
I think those are the 2 riders with Urán. I think it's Dominic Nertz and Cardoso actually that's with those with Rigoberto Urán.
All right, well, we'll catch up in a second if we can. This is a really hard bit of the climb here. He's looking as though he is suffering now. He's showing all the signs. The body language is changing slowly, but let's keep an eye on the clock. They've caught Rigoberto Urán, 3 riders now together, and as they hit the banner, he's gone away again. For the moment, it's 34 seconds.
It's gone up again. Yeah, I think that just shows that these guys behind are tired as well, and nobody really can take up the chase properly. They're having little attacks, little digs, but they can't actually make the difference.
2.6 kilometres, 3:14. This is the peloton. The chase is Dominic Nertz, Andre Cardoso and Jose Herrada.
Yeah, he's suffering now, isn't he? But it's you can't blame him. You know, it's a tough race. The 3rd week of the Vuelta, we've had some hot conditions and then those terrible cold conditions, and we're still in the mountains. Another mountain top finish today. So you know, everybody here is suffering, and we're seen by the chasing group behind that they're all suffering even more.
150 riders left from the 197 that started over 2 weeks ago now. 2 weeks last Saturday, in fact. Finished this Sunday. 2 kilometres to go. They'll have to do something special, though, that's for sure.
Well, there's definitely been an attack and acceleration in the peloton that's really thinned that out, so just make sure that they're all there. Nibali's there, Valverde's there, Horner.
Yes, they're all there. 3rd rider is Nibali, 4th rider in the green is Valverde, 5th rider in the white is Chris Horner, and just a little bit further down we've got Nicholas Roach as well.
Yep, Nicholas was there.
So again, as far as time for the overall goes, that's where the battle is again today. Seconds still spread. Roach has said he'll take seconds whenever he can, but there'll be no time bonuses, that's for sure, because there's too many riders up the road. Just look at Kieselowski is the teammate of Horner, riding in that red top to his jersey, not to be confused with the red jersey of the race leader in 3rd place. Here comes an attack by Valverde. Oh, and there was a reaction from Nibali, but he suddenly sat down and looked at Horner. Horner says, I'm not going, and so Valverde's got himself a gap.
Yeah, well, Valverde, I think Valverde had his eye on this stage right from the beginning today, the way his team was working. I think he would have liked to have won the stage, but had to change tactics.
Well, he's also looking for time. He's not going to win the stage, but frankly, that's not important right now. Valverde sits in third place overall, 1 minute and 42 seconds behind Nibali, and much, much closer to Chris Horner. He's less than a minute behind Horner, so Horner really should have thought of a reaction there. Maybe he can't react. He's back anyway.
Yeah, I think maybe the wind makes it difficult for anybody to get away. As I say, it's not the most difficult of climbs, this one.
You speak for yourself, Graham. I'll tell that to Warren Baggy right now, because this boy, his head is rolling now, but he's still hanging on. And just like his countryman yesterday, Alexander Genier, he's looking for the red kite in the sky. 1 kilometre to go. We're concentrating on the peloton here because we expect an attack from somebody heading for a podium finish in Madrid. Horner is in the white. The red jersey is the race leader, Vincenzo Nibali. The green jersey is the man in third place overall, Valverde. Don't be surprised if Nicholas Roach doesn't tie a dig again as well.
I think that's him actually attacking there as you speak.
You're right. That is Nicholas Roach, just gone off the front. He said he will attack every chance he gets to gain a few seconds. He sits overall in 6th place, but you know, if he gains 9 seconds, he'll be 5th tonight. So he's been nailed back as well. All these false alarms, but at least they're still trying to take time back in this last week of the Vuelta Espana. The riders themselves are saying one of the hardest they've ridden. Rodriguez goes now. He's got a bit more time to make up, but there's still going to be a reaction. Pozzovivo's coming as well on the front of the pack.
Yeah, well, this attack actually is better than most of the other attacks. He actually has opened a little bit bigger gap, and suddenly there's a bit of a slowing down. They're looking at each other. 2
kilometres to go. Well, our leader, by the way, is under 1 kilometre, but our cameras are going to stay with the attacks here from the riders who are trying to get the finish in Madrid. Now we've gone back round the corner. There he is. Oh boy, he's slowing down. Oh, the way he's looking, he's blown.
I think he has blown there. You could see that. He looked like he'd been suffering, but there he had almost stopped pedaling.
Oh, an attack by Uran. Uran's caught him, and look, he may still have something in those legs, because Warren Baggy has jumped onto the wheel here of Rigoberto Uran, the runner-up in the Giro d'Italia this year. Hasn't been the same force in this year's Vuelta Espana, but I bet when he come up alongside Baggy, then he thought he was finished and jumped him.
He looked like he was. Is he bluffing? I mean, well, exactly. You know, for such a young rider, was he bluffing and just knew that Uran was catching him and thought, well, I'll just have a bit of a breather?
A young man with an old head on his shoulders, if you ask me, Warren Baggy there. This is now a little juncture of Katusha here.
Yeah, Gusev was already in that breakaway. He's waiting. It's a little bit like the tactics of Saxo yesterday. He's waiting and he's trying to pace Rodriguez. It's Gusev.
Well, if indeed Rodriguez can get a few seconds, that would be a good psychological blow to his rivals. He's still 2 minutes and 57 seconds behind Nibali. This is Nibali in our cameras in the red. Valverde's just in front of him. Thibaut Pinot is in blue, and I think further up the road you're going to see Chris Horner has gone round the corner on the left of our picture. Chris Horner is off in search of seconds. Now Nibali doesn't look so good today.
No, he looks like he's suffering there. You could see him, his head dropped then for just a second, and he is struggling.
Well, Nibali is only 50 seconds ahead of Chris Horner, and Horner could get 50 seconds on what remains. It'd be a little bit tight, but it's possible.
Nicholas Roach was there as well in pursuit of Horner, but Nibali is definitely gone.
This everybody, they say, has a bad day, and Nibali again in the high mountains, he was in control, but we saw this in the opening week of the Vuelta. He's not so good on these short, sharp climbs to the finish. Doesn't seem to have the top end speed. Now Köhler is coming back up here at the moment, and I think it's Zazarski who's up there with him.
Yes, it will be. He was in that original group.
But it's all come together. Dominic Nertz is the rider in red. He's bringing up Juan Jose Huzarski in the Netap Enduro colours. Rigoberto Uran thought he'd had this one, but he's found he's got a problem. And I tell you what, Warren Baggy has not given up yet. The man who was away feigned the fact he was not feeling good and has put in a sprint here, which I think has given him his victory. Unbelievable. Rigoberto Uran looked at the position of the wheel. I think he's conceded with the expression on his face, and I think Warren Bagay has won. Let's see if this one shows us.
I think Barguil's just got it.
I think he's won it, and we're talking of probably a centimetre, if that. Look at this now. We have got Vincenzo Nibali, the red jersey, who cruised through the cruelest days of the Vuelta, looking good. Now seeing his rivals gain time. Pozzovivo, that's not Pozzovivo. They're the rest of the breakaway. We are coming up towards the line. 500 metres to go, and this is Rodriguez gaining time, but he's still got a lot to gain back.
Yeah, Rodriguez is the first of what was the red jersey peloton, so let's just see who else has gained time on Nibali here.
Well, that was a Formula One racing car pass there by Leopold Koenig, who's just gone through on the inside. This is the man gaining time, all three of them. Chris Horner needs 50 seconds to become the leader of the Tour. Second place is Valverde, and then Thibaut Pinot, all taking time out of Vincenzo Nibali. They'll be inspired with this. Horner only needs to finish 51 seconds ahead to lead the race.
It may be tough to pull that amount of time up, but it bodes well for the coming days.
Pozzovivo and Nicholas Roach just gone through our camera here. Nibali has had an off day today, and they're hitting him hard towards the top of the climb. They are making this an amazing Vuelta. 1 minute 41 there for Rodriguez, 1:43 for Valverde, Pinot, and 1:46. So at 2:36 he would have lost his red jersey. He's got to be in at 2 minutes 36. He's got to be in. He should make that okay, but it's going to be tight at the top tonight as the red jersey of Nibali comes up. He is closing the line. He's lost half his advantage over Chris Horner, and I suspect tonight he'll be 25 or 26 seconds in front only on the American Chris Horner,
as opposed to the nanosecond or two between Warren Barguil and Rigoberto Urán on the line. You can usually tell who's won tight finishes by the riders' reactions, but how Warren Barguil could possibly raise his arms with any certainty, I don't know. The remains of the break filled the first 16 places today, and from place 17 onwards things got interesting. Joaquin Rodriguez led home the big names, although he gained only 3 seconds in the end on the man in front of him in the standings, Alejandro Valverde, and he in turn took 3 seconds off the man in front of him, Chris Horner. Nicholas Roach stole a second from Domenico Pozzovivo on the line, but the man who conceded time to everyone was Vincenzo Nibali. Most importantly, 22 seconds to Chris Horner.
Valverde went first, Astana closed it down, and then after that Joaquin Rodriguez went. I hesitated to wait to see if one of the other guys would follow it. They didn't, and then Robert Kieserlowski, my teammate, he did a big effort. At that moment, I heard on the radio that the other guys were in trouble and we had a gap, so then I went full gas to try to close on Joaquin Rodriguez. Valverde did a good job of coming back to me, and then of course he was on my wheel and I had no choice but to pull full gas. Valverde got a little gap, but it's not big enough to worry about. I was more trying to gain time, as much time as I could for the general classification.
Estás encontrando las piernas con una semana muy dura que llega.
Sí, la verdad que contento de cómo ha ido. He empezado a encontrarme como me gusta. Parece que, como siempre, la última semana es la que mejor me va. Esperemos que siga así esta semana.
Una subida de las características tuyas y de Purito de pronto.
Bueno, no es que fuera una subida de nuestras características, es che nos hemos incontrato bene e abbiamo podido sacare differenze.
Io pensavo di stare meglio, ho sottovalutato un po' i miei avversari, pensavo di fare qualcosina di più e invece ho pagato. Questo perché siamo alla Vuelta, non bisogna mai sottovalutare gli avversari, però alla fine va bene anche così perché c'è un'altra settimana molto dura. Sia Valverde che Purito Rodriguez stanno facendo una buona corsa, però devono tener conto che non devono controllare solo me, ma perché Horner comunque si è avvicinato anche tantissimo e sta dimostrando di andare molto forte, e se non altro anche negli arrivi passati Horner è stato quasi uno dei più forti in salita, quindi attenzione, vediamo.
I tell you, it's the way he ends every answer. Now, in all the GC action, we shouldn't overlook a brilliant and once again brilliantly calculating ride from Warren Barguil of France for his second stage win of the race.
Today I have a very good leg and I attack, and after I have seen Urán come to me, a little bit recovery and he attack directly, but I'm strong in my head and for the sprint I like this sprint, and Urán it's not rider. It's a very strong rider, but win between Uran, it's crazy.
And the race overall is starting to look, if not crazy, at least interestingly unstable. Horner is 28 seconds behind Nibali now, with Valverde at 1:14 and Rodriguez up inside 2.5 minutes. Nicholas Roach inches towards Domenico Pozzovivo's 5th place.